Every city has its own rhythm, a unique heartbeat, and in the quiet moments between all the noise, sometimes you can find a silent heart beating. This is the story of Leo. He wasn't a hero in the traditional sense. He was just a man who sat on the same park bench every day, watching the world go by. One morning, he saw Maya, a young barista, rushing past. She was so flustered, she didn't even notice her key card slip from her folder. Leo simply stood up, picked it up, and placed it on a trash bin right in her path. A moment later, Maya retraced her steps, frantic. When she spotted the card, relief washed over her face. She looked around, but only saw Leo, calmly watching the pigeons. Later that day, Mr. Ellis, a retired teacher, was struggling with a grocery bag at the bus stop when it suddenly ripped open. Oranges scattered everywhere. Out of nowhere, Leo was there. Without a word, he pulled a sturdy, reusable bag from his own satchel, helped gather the groceries, and handed the bag to a grateful but very confused Mr. Ellis. He didn't fight monsters or chase down villains. He fought a different battle, the battle against everyday despair, in broad daylight. A dropped wallet returned before its owner knew it was gone. A heavy door held open for someone with their arms full. Forgotten lunch money anonymously replaced on a school desk. He'd leave a single flower on a bench for a woman who'd been crying. He'd tighten a loose bolt on a swing set just before a mother pushed her child. He'd silently point a lost child back towards a worried police officer. One afternoon, a little girl named Chloe was drawing on a swing near Leo's bench. Suddenly, a stressed businessman, David, stormed into the park, yelling into his phone. He paced back and forth, fuming, and accidentally kicked over Chloe's cup of crayons. He was so caught up in his own anger, he didn't even notice. Defeated, he slumped onto a bench, head in his hands. Chloe looked sadly at her spilled crayons. That's when Leo walked over. He knelt down and meticulously gathered every single one. He noticed her drawing a dark scribbled sky over a little house. From his satchel, he pulled out a brand new, radiant yellow crayon and placed it gently on her drawing. A single spot of sun. Then, Leo turned his attention to David. He walked to the water fountain, filled the cap of his thermos, and set it on the bench beside the defeated man. Next to the water, he placed a small, smooth stone, worn from being held. David looked up, startled. Leo met his gaze with a look of deep, wordless understanding before returning to his bench. David stared at the water and the stone. He picked up the stone, feeling its simple, solid weight in his hand. He took a drink of water, and then a deep, shuddering breath. He pulled out his phone. "Jenkins," he said quietly, "look, I'm sorry. Let's figure this out together." As the sun began to set, Chloe cautiously approached Leo, who was now alone on his bench. She held out a new drawing. This time, the sky was a bright, brilliant yellow. In the center was a strong figure on a bench, surrounded by smiling stick figures. Leo took the drawing, his eyes shining. He looked at Chloe, and for the first time, he spoke. His voice was soft and rough from disuse, but incredibly gentle. "Thank you," he said. No one knew his story. No one knew what burdens he carried that made words feel too heavy to use. They only knew the change he left behind. A little less worry, a little more lightness, a little more light. As Leo left the park, he saw a young man frantically patting his pockets, looking for his keys. Without breaking his stride, Leo tapped twice on the lid of a nearby trash bin. The young man looked confused. Leo just pointed, and there, hooked over the edge, were the missing keys. "Hey!"
Thank you.
the man called out, but Leo was already turning the corner, his silhouette fading into the twilight. He never asked for thanks or recognition. His battlefield was the everyday. His weapon was attention. His victory was in the quiet spaces he carved out for grace in a noisy, chaotic world. He was the silent warrior, still fighting, still unseen, and still speaking volumes without ever saying a word.